Jake Drake, Chapter 3 The Rules. After the assembly about the science fair, our classroom was noisy. Miss Navin came in and said, "Everyone please sit in your chairs. I have something to give you." Eric Kenner said, "Is it a computer?" Everybody laughed, even Miss Navin. She said, "No, it's not a computer, Eric, but it is some news about the science fair." That got things quiet fast. "Now," said Miss Navin, "the first thing you all need to know is that no one has to be part of the science fair. This is something you can choose to do or choose not to do. It will be a good experience, but it will not make any difference in your grade either way." While she was talking, Miss Navin took a pile of papers from her desk and started passing them out. She said, "This is about the science fair. You should take this booklet home and read it with your mom or dad. There is a form that you and your parent will have to sign. Bring it back to me before Christmas vacation if you're going to enter the science fair. You should pay special attention to page 3. That's the page that tells the kinds of projects that are allowed and the kinds of projects you should not make." It was dead quiet in the room except for the rustling of paper. I got my booklet and started to flip through it. It had 10 pages and it all looked pretty boring. I started to fold it up so I could put it in my backpack to take home. But then I looked at Kevin. He was hunched over in his desk, reading fast. He had a pencil, and he was making little check marks and notes on the pages. Then I turned my head toward the other side of the room and looked at Marcia. Same thing, except she was using a pink highlighter. Usually I would have looked at Marcia and Kevin and said to myself, "Know-it-alls." But not that day. I grabbed my red pen, I unfolded my science fair papers, and I started reading. No way was I going to let either of those kids get my plutonium-12 computer. Then Miss Navin said, "Are there any questions about the science fair?" Right away, Kevin's hand went up. Miss Navin said, "Yes, Kevin." "Can kids work together on the science fair?" Miss Navin started flipping pages in the information packet. She said, "On page 9 it says, students may work on science fair projects alone or with one partner." Then I put my hand up. Miss Navin nodded at me, so I said, "But what if 2 kids make a project and it wins first place? Would both kids get a prize?" Miss Navin flipped some more pages. Then she said, "On page 6 it says only one grand prize will be awarded for the winning project in grade 3, grade 4, and grade 5. So the answer is no, Jake. If a team won first place, I guess they'd have to figure out how to share the prize or split it up some way." So that was that. I had to work by myself. No way was I going to split my new computer with anybody else. Miss Navin said, "Any other questions?" 2 more kids put up their hands, Pete Morris and Marcia. Marcia got called on first. Whenever Marcia talked, everything sounded like a question. She said, "On page 7, well, it says I have to get my project idea approved before I start working on it. Well, what if I have to start working on it today, like after school and tonight?" Miss Navin smiled. "I think you'd better wait until you talk with your mom or dad before you begin, Marcia. And don't worry, there will be plenty of time." You see that? How Miss Navin said, "There will be plenty of time," and how she said, "Don't worry"? That's because Miss Navin didn't get it. She didn't understand how know-it-alls have to get the right answer, or about how they always have to be the first, or how they always have to worry. Pete Morris still had his hand up, so Miss Navin called on him. Pete's a science kid. He knows every kind of bug there is, even their fancy names, and which bug is related to which other bug, and what they eat and how long they live. Pete's really smart. Pete said, "I think insects would be a good science fair project, because I have a lot of different bugs. Bugs are my hobby, and rocks too, and also worms and plants, and sometimes different kinds of monkeys. So, is it okay to have your science fair project and your hobby be the same thing?" Miss Navin said, "That's a good question, Pete, and the answer is yes. But I still think you all need to talk to your moms or dads, and then they can help you decide what's best for you to do." Now that's all the time we have for this today. Then it was quiet reading time, so we all put the science fair stuff away and got out our library books. Except I didn't, and neither did Marcia. She put the science fair papers down in her lap where she could keep reading them. And I didn't even bother to look over at Kevin. I knew he was still thinking about the science fair too. And me? I kept the papers out on my desk, that way I could look down at them under my library book. I needed to get to work. Maybe I could go to the library after lunch. Then I could get a head start. Because I wanted to be the first and the best. I wanted to win. And I didn't just want to win. I had to win. I had to be know-it-all number 1.